What I love most about my mom, I would say, is her nature. She's not necessarily carefree, but she's not necessarily too strict. She kind of evens out how she teaches. So she'll allow me do some things, but if she doesn't allow me do something else, she'll give me the reason why. So I think she's very caring too.
Being a mother to me means everything in the world. It takes all that I have to give, all the love, all the attention, all the sacrifice. It occupies my thoughts most of the time. I see myself having this responsibility of raising other human beings and raising them very well and letting them into the world to be good people, to be as kind, as responsible, as considerate of others as they can be. And I find it to be a huge responsibility. So I sometimes worry, you know, about how they are doing, their character, how they are presenting themselves to the world, and whether I've done a good job. But at the same time, I focus a lot on whether they are happy, whether they are at peace, whether they are confident of themselves, how they also, confront challenges. All these things come to play, in my relationship with them. It's a huge task, and there's no downtime. There's no downtime, but it's the most fulfilling and the most satisfactory thing I've ever done, or thing I see myself, doing in life. Yeah. In terms of balancing my career with motherhood, there's really no template to it. I came at it very young. I had my first child when I was 23, and I was working full time, studying full time, and working, and just carried on both of them at the same time. I just did what had to be done, did it with passion, with commitment. And there were times when one could have impacted on the other. But along the line, I had help. I was not afraid to seek help from my own mother, from family members, or even professional help along the way to fill in certain spaces or to play certain roles when I'm not there. Like you've mentioned, I've worked in Sierra Leone, I've worked in Somalia, I've worked in Sudan, I've worked in New York. In so many other places, my professional life required me to travel a whole lot. I would have someone, take my place or at least be present in their lives when I'm not there. But at the same time, I ensured that as much as I was able to, I was there. And thank God for technology. We communicate on phone all the time. We even set up appointments and meetings, to make sure that we touch base with each other. I mean, you can imagine during the COVID-19 crisis, I had two of them here, one in Canada and myself in Sudan. But we made it work. We kept on, communicating, being in touch, and touching base with every aspect of their lives to ensure that, there is a balance and they don't feel a loss, of presence or the nurturing or care they needed.
Some of the most important lessons. Some of them would include budgeting. Mm, Another lesson would be to try your best. Always try your best, and it won't fail you. What have I learned about budgeting? Mm, I always used to be kind of very impulsive buyer. I once bought a lot of things that were not very needed, and she was a bit angry at me. But now, over the years, she's given me more freedom. She's taught me that I need to be more conscious about what I spend and how I'm spending the money.
How I ensure that my children feel loved and supported despite my busy schedule is really being present, whether physically or virtually. I always touch base, with them growing up, as they were much younger. Like I said, even though we're present in the same country, I would travel a lot. I would travel within the same country, I would travel out of the country, but I would always touch base. I would always call home, make sure that everything is in order, they have what they need. And the times when we're together, I make it meaningful. One of the things that I put in place very early on with them is discussion, negotiation, and consensus. So I do not lay down the law and say you must do this without a reasoning why. And at the same time, I also allow them their autonomy, allow them their intelligence. So when a situation comes up, we discuss it and I ask them, what do you want to do? Before I offer advice, before I give my own solutions, I want to know what solution is coming from you. What do you want to do about this? And 9 times out of 10, they would have figured it out, or they would give a reasonable, proposal, and then we can talk through it and agree on things. And whatever it is we agree on, they have to implement. And I also, like I said, make moments where we all come together. So there are three of them, and much as I have conversations individually with everybody, we make sure that even if it's once a week, we all come together on, like presently, on video calls every Friday night at 9 p.m. We all come together and talk, have our banter, they tease each other, we just carry on. It's not a structured conversation. We just stay there for 2 hours, let the time run, say what we need to say, and then, say our good nights.
Best memory. Hmm. I would say when she came to my cultural day. Yes.
We say I love you every day, several times a day. Even if it's after breakfast or something, he's a hugger. He likes to hug. I remember when he was 3 and we're in Sierra Leone, he came up with these hugs and he had names for different kinds of hugs, that he would give. So we are that kind of family. We close our calls with the other ones every night with I love you, mom, I love you, mom. But for both of us that are still together, it's all day. It's spontaneous. There's no formula, there's no timetable. Yeah.
Mostly her determination. Because of she's had a lot of like ups and downs. She goes from one place to there, but then she's still building up things. Like look around us. There's lots of clothes and they're selling off the rack. I'd always call her once in a while, ask how it's going. She'd say, I got this amount of sales, and I'd be like, wow. It's just her determination is great.
The advice I would give to working moms who are struggling to balance family and career is there's no downtime. There are good advice out there from professionals, but you would know what works in your situation because it's not a cookie cutter type of situation. What works for me may not work for you. But the most important thing is be there with all your commitment, be there with all your passion, do what comes naturally to you. But make sure, because you have a busy schedule, make sure that you are a heaven for your children. If nothing else, the last uh, person they should come to, or the first person they should come to, it's like the last haven for them should always be mom. The final say, the final how do I put it? The final fortress, protection, friend, everything, should be mom. Be there for them. If you're there for them, even if you're not present, but they know that there are ways they can reach you, it helps. They call me with decisions like, oh, I want to buy new furniture, I want to do this. Sometimes I step back and say, okay, should I be making this decision with you, or should I be thankful that you're even involving me, even though you have the resources to do it for yourself? So it's very important that you create a safe haven for your children. That will help along the line with every other thing.
Some of my biggest dreams and goals is to become a somebody in the medical profession, like a doctor. And how my mom helps me is like the first time I told my parents about this, there was no what's it called, choose a different path. There was no are you sure about this? They just said, okay, this is what you want to do. This is the things that you need to do to get there. They always helped me along the way. Like even right now, they're trying to look for ways so I can go to what's it called, a pre-uni quickly and start trying to chase that medical profession.
My experience as a mother has actually had some impact on the fact that I started my own fashion brand. Like I said before, there's no downtime to motherhood. And at the same time, there's really no downtime to striving to be the best person you can be. You really can't just quit and sit and fold your hands and sort of say this is the end of the road for me in one way or the other. Last year, when we last met, I was confronted with the situation of my contract having ended, and there was a huge gap in terms of what to do next, what to do. But I have my passions, I have my interests, I have my creativity. So, and I'd been thinking about it for a while. So I said, okay, let me start it and let me do it well, give it my all and see where that goes. So, just as I give my all to motherhood, when I started this enterprise, I said I'm going to go all out and give it all that I've got and be sure that I've done that and then let God handle the rest. As the case may be. So yeah, if the passions and the commitment of motherhood, drives you to do more for your children, a business is like a child. It needs nurturing. It needs nurturing, to grow. Yeah.
Something about my mom that people might be surprised to know. Hmm. She's very strong, not just physical wise, but mental wise. Yeah, physical wise, she's strong, but mentally, she's very strong. She doesn't allow lots of hardships get to her. And she knows what she needs to do, even if it's a hard decision. She knows what she needs to do to continue pushing forward, to even push past the boundaries that have been set.
I involve my children in my work and teach them the value of work and entrepreneurship through several ways. Like I give them updates on work, give them updates on the business. And then sometimes I bounce ideas off them. Do you think I should do this? Do you think I should, put up racks in the house? Like when I really wanted to start off, I didn't know where to start and how to, but I knew the time was now. So I told them, I think I'm going to do this right here in the dining room, and they were all, okay, go for it, start it, things like that. But even with work, I remember I worked in very difficult situations. I worked in Somalia. I would travel, I would sit them down and explain to them why I have to travel, why I have to go out for work to difficult places, because it's, a contribution to our collective well being, and explain things like that to them. I remember when they were very young, at the age where they would cry when I'm leaving, I'll sit people down and say, this is why I'm traveling. I'm not leaving you, I'll be back. And if I go on this trip, next one you may come with me. So they do understand the value at the end of the process and how, and then I make them part of my decisions. I always bounce ideas off them or share successes, share challenges, and information that is emerging with them. So they are part of the process. And I take their ideas, like he's always coming up with ideas. Oh, can we make a hoodie for young men like myself, or the girls in my school would like, this kind of outfit. Yeah. This is the first time I'm actually hearing you, say things about me, my personality, what your good memories about me. And it's really fascinating and interesting. And I really appreciate, that you said that. I am also very, very proud, I'm pleased to have you as my son. I am proud of the fact that you're very, self-sufficient. You are determined and focused in whatever you want to do in life. You're really disciplined. The times when you, for example, wake up at 6 a.m. to get your taxi and knock on my door and say, Mom, I'm ready to go, and I didn't have to wake you up to do that. I do love that. And of course, the feedback I get from friends, like when you go home to Lagos and they say, oh, your son is very well behaved. Thank you for that. I feel like giving you a hug. Thank you for the hug. When he was 15, he promised he would never stop hugging and kissing me.
I wanted to say thank you, Mom. Because, sometimes I can't really tell, how accepted I am unless it's been voiced. But there was a day I was doing something and you told me I'm proud of you. And that meant a lot coming from you, Mom.
Thank you.
I'm always very happy whenever I see you being happy about all the stuff that you do. And I'm happy that you're my mom.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too, Mom.
Okay. To everyone watching this program, I would like to say Happy Mother's Day to you if you are a mother, if you have children, or if you have people who look up to you as a mother, or if you're playing the role of a mother in somebody else's life. And thank you to all the mothers out there who are pulling, round the clock duties, nurturing young ones and continuing to contribute into building, wholesome young people for our society. It's the most important responsibility we could possibly have. It's my pleasure to share with you all today. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.